If you notice something different, it's my stress-free glow, because yours truly is halfway done with my master's program, okay? So let's get into what this past year has been about. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Savannah, but on the internet I go by SavvyC, and welcome back to SavvyC Scoop. We are almost at 500 subscribers, which is so crazy to think about. So thank you all so much for being here, and special shout out to all the new faces. Hey, welcome, and thanks for sticking around. And today's video is actually inspired by one of you guys. I love reading comments and hearing back from you, and this was just a video request, and I was like, you know what, that'd be a great idea. Let me do it. So special shout out to Amber B, who commented on my most recent day in a life video the following. She said, hey, I'm thinking of applying to the MAGC at AUP next year, parentheses, I'm a rising senior at Boston University, shouts to Boston, and I would absolutely love if you could make a video about the program / classes / your experience with it, hearts. Oh, sending love to you. So happy I found your channel. I'm so happy you found it too, Amber. Thank you so much for that comment and that idea. I've been thinking for a bit of how to do this, and this really just like prompted it, and now here it is for you now. So I'm here in Paris, France. I attend the American University of Paris, where I'm a master's student studying global communications, and this video is just gonna break down just first what my program overall is like, then my classes and the courses I've taken so far and what they've been like, and then finally just my reflections as I'm now 1 year in and I'm halfway through my graduate degree, and this what the overall experience has been like here. So if that sounds good to you, stick around, keep watching. First up, we're just gonna get into the program details overall, so detailing what MAGC is. But first, let's talk about what the name MAGC itself means. Let's get you up on some AUP lingo. So MAGC is just short for Masters of Arts in Global Communications, okay? So I'm just gonna say that for reference. So the MAGC program is 48 credits in total, and the typical class is 4 credits. And then we have these things called modules, which are like, think of a 3-day TED Talk, and those are 2 credits. And there are only 3 days out of the whole semester. You have to sacrifice a Saturday, which, sometimes not the best, but they are really worthwhile because we have someone outside of the university come in who is a working professional, expert in their area, speak on their area of expertise. So it's really fascinating. So you have either those 4 credit options or the 2 credit options for courses. Then within just the overall arching MAGC umbrella, there are 4 tracks, officially 3, but 4 in total. The first being the fashion track, which, pretty self-explanatory. You're in Paris, just, a fashion capital in the world. Really just learning about the history and how it's impacting, contemporary areas of fashion, sustainability, the history, different industries of it, PR, if you want to be, more editorial, whatever you're looking for, that program and that overall track offers that. Then next we have development communications, and this is again just talking about, this is overall is talking about how developing nations, developing countries can have communications as a tool to just help improve the country's just state of being and the overall wellness. People in this track often work or start their own NGOs and really look at like human development, human rights, etc., and just how, again, communications can play such an important role in helping those issues that are, centuries, decades long, and just are further growing, which, obviously being pandemic has really shed a light on and just shown us how prevalent they are. Next up is digital cultures and industries, and this just basically breaks down like just the overall rise, prominence, and then now especially again with the pandemic, the ubiquitousness, is that it? How ubiquitous? Maybe ubiquitousness isn't a word, but how ubiquitous, just digital media is, and just talking about, coding and algorithms and digital advocacy and things like that, of just how this world is really just evolving and growing furthermore into just more globalized and digitized. Again, I feel like I'm making up words. Anyways, and then last, certainly not least, my track is the general one. And this is really just, you're just vibing out, okay? You're just here for a good time, really just enjoying and just learning and making things not up as you go, but kind of up as you go, you know? I had to pick a track for my bachelor's degree where I studied journalism in college, and I kind of felt at times kind of pigeonholed, kind of trapped. And so when I learned about the general track option for my graduate program, I jumped at the idea because I was able to really just customize the education and pull different parts of each section and each other track to really curate my own journey and carve my own path here at AUP with the MAGC program. Now, it's not common. I'm pretty rare in being in the general track, but it is an option. If you would like it, I say take advantage of it. I say go for it. Now let's switch over to the overall core requirements and just, what embodies and what makes up those 48 credits. So first, let's talk about the core courses. So there's 16 credits in total that you need to fulfill the core part of the program, which averages out to exactly 4 classes. So, 4 times 4 is 16. Hello, quick math. And first, you have to take all of us, regardless of where you're coming from, your background, etc. is CM 5001, which formally stands for Global Communications, Concepts, Critical Approaches, and Research Methods. And then, so that class is broken into thirds. It's taught by 3 different professors who are all really great. And they just, in each section, just focus on something of just their area of expertise and just break down things. So you really have that foundation going into the rest of the program, regardless of what you came in with. Because a lot of my classmates are coming in from, like for me, I came to grad school directly from undergrad, but a lot of people had previous careers. A lot of people are changing careers for the first time. A lot of people just had an interest in communication, but are able to have a formal training in it. So wherever you're coming from, it's fine. This just gets you right and just on the right track setting forward. Then after that one required course, you are able to select 3 courses from the following list. So those courses are Brands and Beliefs, Cultural Diversity and Globalization, Global Digital Cultures, Identity Formation in a Transnational World, Communication in the Global Public Sphere, Politics and Economics of Global Media, and then Global Communications Research Seminar. So in addition to these 16 required credits you need to take for this program, there's also 24 electives you have to take. So, or not have to take, you want to take, they're fun. And so with that, you just have to choose one that's within the CM requirement, the course code, and that averages out, again, if you've taken a semester long, quote unquote, normal class of 4 credits would average out to 6 classes, but you can play around with it and add in some modules here or there. Then after that, so you have your 16 for core, you have your 24 electives, you'll have your final 8 be either an internship or a thesis. You could do both, hypothetically speaking, but it's required for the program to graduate one or the other. I'm doing an internship now. Then to round it out, just want to tell you guys about some best kept secrets of MAGC and things that I learned well after my time, after I accepted and I got here. And those are the following 2 things. First, MAGC students and MAGC students only qualify and can apply for something called the APS visa, which is a status that allows you to stay in Paris, stay in France, and just study and work and just live here, or not, just work and live, not study. You don't have to be a student status for up to 2 years, so you can renew it twice, and it's 1 year per each time you get it. And that just is really nice of just, again, not being stressed. Being a student here, I feel like is the best thing going outside of like having a proper job, quote unquote. But if you can't have the student status for too long, APS is a huge just stress reliever for being here and just going through the immigration process in the prefecture. And then the second great perk is that the AUP MAGC program degree qualifies you for the Director of International Communications / Marketing, which is a European level qualification that the French government recognizes. So our degree is, my degree, if you do the MAGC program, is recognized by the French state, by the French government. And that's a huge cosign and just, again, a huge validation that what you're doing is worthwhile and will definitely get you a job. It's more than feasible and possible to do so because, you have, the qualifications, okay? Then next up, just going to round this part of the section out, this first part out with just the timeline. So there's just 3 timelines offered for this program. You can play around with it, of course, but those 3 quote unquote structures that AUP has created for the MAGC program. And that first one is the fall interest. And this is the most popular and most typical. I followed this. I came in the fall 2020 semester. So for fall just for fall entry, you'll have 2 core courses, 2 elective courses. For the spring, you'll have 2 core courses, 2 elective courses. For the summer, you'll have 2 elective courses, and then for the fall, you'll have an internship or a thesis to round out your program. For the spring entry, you'll have 2 core courses, 2 elective courses. For the summer, you'll have 2 elective courses. For the fall, you'll have 2 core courses and 2 elective courses. And then for the spring, you'll have an internship or a thesis to round out your program. Then for the accelerated timeline, which I don't know anyone who's done this, but it is a possibility. For the first semester, you can do 2 core courses, 2 elective courses. For your second semester, you can, again, do 2 core courses, 2 elective courses. And then for your third semester, you can do 2 elective courses and then an internship or a thesis while in those courses. It is possible if you want to, crank it out, get in, get out. I say go for it. It is an option for a reason. Part 2 of the video is just going to talk about the courses I've taken overall and just some quick thoughts and feedback on them. So like I said earlier, I started at AUP in the fall 2020 semester, right in the thick of the pandemic. And again, I don't really regret it, and I'll talk about my reflection at the end. And during that semester, I took the following courses: Global Communications, which is required. And I broke that down earlier. Brands and Beliefs, which is one of my favorite courses I've taken at AUP to date. And it really just talks about branding as a whole and just really just gives you a full encompassing understanding of the branding world and how, again, ubiquitous it is. Then next, I took Communication, the Global Public Sphere, which was really theoretical and really just threw me for a loop, but in the best way possible, and just talking about public sphere theory and how that, again, is so ubiquitous and really impacts all of our lives and the role communication plays with that. And then last, but certainly not least, another favorite of mine was Paris Fashion Design Simplet. This is a great class and just introducing me into the fashion world. I now have a brand new appreciation, understanding of fashion, especially Parisian fashion and what fashion has meant to this city and to this country, and just, again, how it's so, I just really kind of, it's easy to label it as superficial, but it's so much more than that, and it's a several billion-dollar industry for a reason. Then switching to this past semester, which I just finished, the fall 2021 semester. This past semester, I took Politics and Economics of Global Media, which just breaks down the idea of soft power and basically like a country's clout and what that does and how that leverages them on a global scale. Next, I took Visual Design Practicum, which was, again, super, super helpful. Practicums really just get you to like the nitty-gritty of things. And so we learned just the ins and outs of Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe InDesign, which were things I felt like an old woman at. Like, I was so just like, how do you do this? But it really broke it down for me, and now I'm like, I'm not a pro, but like I'm really proficient and comfortable in all 3 platforms and just the overall Adobe Creative Cloud. Next, the Graduate Research Seminar on Sovereignty and Visuality. I really like this because we were able to just shape our own interest and interest in ideas, and then just put them within this context and just learn about sovereignty and visuality and just visual cultures as a whole, and just how that plays in the world we're in today and what that looks like, and how this is both a new thing but has also been historically documented since the beginning of time, and how it's just evolved over time and what it looks like in present day. And then my 2 modules this semester, I didn't take any modules my first semester, but I took some this past semester. I took Media Industry Masterclass with this guy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he is an editor at The Guardian, and just broke down. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, and he's like, oh, you're gonna know most of the stuff, which I did. But it was still very fruitful and interesting just to learn again about the industry and just breaking down his experiences about just media as a whole. And the second one was the unseen drivers of pandemics and the unseen drivers of the response to emerging pandemics. And I was just like, oh, I should take a class on pandemics. Seems really timely, really prominent, and I'm really glad I did. It was super just interesting and eye-opening for good and bad reasons, but it just kind of broke down how we're at, where the stage we are at, and then just how do I say this? How and why pandemics start, and the just different factors that prolong the state of being. So kind of bittersweet, but really fascinating nonetheless. Then in the summer 2021, which I'm in now, whoop, whoop, I'm in my internship. And so that's 8 credits for me now. And then my final semester, which is so crazy, time has really flown by. My final fall semester, I'll be in 8 credits. So if you're here in the fall, hit me up, say hey. I would love to meet you in person. I'm taking advanced branding practicum, and I'm taking 2 modules, which are going to be trend forecasting and brand identity, and then content-based networking, and influence. So really looking forward to those final 8 credits as I round out my program. So that's what I did. Now, as you can see, it is a bit atypical to the timelines I mentioned earlier. And again, you know, that's the beauty of this program, what I liked about it, and being on the general track, I had that flexibility to play around with some things. Don't feel like you're trapped into those timelines, but just be sure and be conscious that you want to graduate when you want to. Your financial aid, everything can be paid for, your accommodations, your living arrangements, etc. can be supported. So, you know, make it work for you, make this program work for you, not the other way around. Last part 3 of this video is just my reflection and just what this 1 year has meant to me so far. I came to AUP, I came to Paris on September 15th of 2020, right in the thick of Miss Rona, the pandemic, and it was one of the craziest things I've ever done, of having a one-way flight to Paris by myself, coming to a school in an apartment, and just, you know, I've been to Paris before, but both a school and an apartment, sight unseen. And, you know, yes, it was one of the crazy things I've done before, but it's also one of the best decisions I've ever made. I'm so glad a year later that I made that decision. I know that me coming to AUP, studying within the MAGC program, has just opened opportunities for me and just has drastically changed my life trajectory for the better. I really feel as though me being here has just opened my eyes and changed my perspective on things, and just my overall just view on life has changed again for the better in ways that I'd have never guessed possible. I really love with the AUP program, or excuse me, MAGC program at AUP, how the classes are really just taught how I feel like education should be taught. Things, at least for me, that cater to my strengths and what I feel like is the best methodology for that, or pedagogy, right? Is, you know, proper way of like teaching. And I really love how the first, third, first, fourth of classes are like the theoretical framework and like the historical background and just overall foundational things. And then once like midterm times hit, then we add in our personal interest as students, and this professor meets us halfway and then just guides us through, you know, the rest of the course on how to just build off of that and create something at the end that we can really be proud of, and just a final product that you can maybe share if you're looking to get your doctoral degree or go to doctoral program, whatever. Or just, you know, in general for a work or a job or start a company, etc. You can just build off of it. And I just really love that I get like those best of both worlds, of where I can just learn, take notes, but then have my personal interest thrown in the mix. So it's not just like forced down my throat. Like I can really, you know, add my own, you know, flair, little taste to it. I really like to how there's no busy work and the courses are relevant, particularly my Brands and Beliefs course. I took that my first semester, and a few months later now with my internship working at Deezer, I am hearing verbatim terms and phrases that we talked about in that class. And so it's been really cool to just see it play out in real time. And again, it's not like a waste of my time, like it's worthwhile. I love that with, you know, the global international community, although diversity is a bit scarce racially speaking, but that's a whole other thing because France is a colorblind state. But internationally, at least, I've been exposed to so many cultures, so many different people. I've had several group projects where each member is from a different different country, and different continent too, honestly. And it's really just cool to see everyone bring their own just perspectives and backgrounds to their work, and just how that, you know, impacts their just viewpoint and perspective, and what that brings and enriches to the class. It was really, really fascinating to learn about and hear firsthand. Also too, as a Black American, meeting people from different countries within Africa has been really fascinating to just learn more, because I feel like Africa within, you know, the States is presented so monolithically. Again, I feel like I'm making up words, as there's a monolith, and it's so much more than that. I'm really thankful that I'm seeing that firsthand while living here. And yeah, just again, if I had the chance, I definitely would. There are some cons, of course. I'm looking at my notes just to get it right. I made a separate video dedicated to the cons, so I'll just link that up here and have you go take a look at that. But just like if you weren't able to check that out, my biggest points that I wish would be a bit different: lack of racial diversity, but that's, you know, kind of damn near everywhere, dare I say, and then just lack of feedback. And I think that's just a graduate level thing now that I've been here for a year, but at times it's kind of frustrating. So I would just say for that, just really press on. And then just wish that the course, they are relevant but are a bit limited in scope. So I wish that they're a bit wider cast of subjects like they are for the modules. But again, I'm sure that's like a technical like AUP administrative thing that goes past my level of my, you know, my literal pay grade because I'm a student. But, you know, my thoughts and reflections overall nonetheless. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this answered your question, Amber B girl. Hey, and I hope this really just cleared up some things and, you know, got you a good introduction to magic. And I will be sure to link everything I referenced in the description box below for you to just do some more research on your own, which I really urge you to do. I really urge you to just reach out to this program, look into it, get the details, and yeah, just figure it out for yourself. If you have any more questions, of course, feel free to comment them down below, or, you know, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I love when you guys DM me. Please keep doing that on, of course, the SavvyC Scoop on Instagram. If you know, feel like I didn't answer anything, maybe touch on a topic that you want me to go into a bit more, I would love to do so. Again, special thanks to Amber B for commenting. Again, I love when you guys comment. Please feel free to put more video suggestions or things you'd like to see from me down below. I don't have classes until September, so I'm really going to crank out some videos this summer. So I'd love to just hear what you guys have. I have some ideas on my own, of course, but would always love to hear any more feedback and ideas you guys have. As always, I'm sending my love to wherever you are in the world where you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.